Hey Chanakyans of grade 8, welcome back to the video session. I'm Priyanka. In this video, we are going to revise the lessons which you learned so far. In your geography, you learned 3 chapters. How many chapters you learned? 3 chapters. They are resources, land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife resources. And the third one is mineral and power resources. These 3 chapters only we are going to revise today. Okay, before start the revision session, let me tell you something. The question answers which is revised in this video are not given in your book. Okay, so which means I haven't revised the book back question answers, including that you are going to learn this also. Is it clear, children? So as we have NCRT book, the questions will be come from your inside lesson. Okay, yes, you have to learn everything and just keep it for your reference. Is it clear, children? Yes, shall we move on to that? Yes, the first chapter, resources. The chapter 1 is resources. Types of resources, human made and natural resources, and the need for conservation of resources. These are the 3 topics you learned under this lesson. Now let's see some points which you need to be remembered. Okay, so what is resources? Any substance that can be used to satisfy a need is resource. Okay, a need is resource. So each one has its own utility value. Each and every one has its utility value. In this, the two main factors that can change substance into resources or time and technology. The time indicates the different periods. And technology refers the techniques adopted by the humans. Okay, so generally we can divide it in a four types. Okay, generally the resources can be divided into 4 category, that is natural resources, human resources, and human made resources. These are the 3 classification of resources. Okay, so under this you learnt about biotic resources and abiotic resources. Okay, so what is abiotic resources? A non-living things. Abiotic means the non-living things such as soil and minerals, and the biotic resources means living resources. The biotic means living resources such as plants and animals. Is it clear? Yes. Next, let's see the renewable and non-renewable resources. See, what is renewable resources? It means the resources are able to get back. The resources are able to get back. The examples are water and soil. These are the 2 examples. And non-renewable resources, which means it cannot be get back. The example, minerals like coal and copper. Okay, so the careful utilization of resources and giving them to get renewed is called resources conservation. So for the natural resources, we have to give the time to renew itself. Okay, so it is called resource conservation, and it is needed for present and also the future purpose. Is it clear, children? Yes. So there are many ways to conserve the resources. They are reducing consumption. We have to reduce the consumption, and we can recycle and reuse things. Okay, yes, we have to recycle and reuse the things. Therefore, it is our duty to ensure that, what is our duty? It is to ensure that all uses of renewable resources are sustainable and the diversity of life on the earth is conserved. Okay, the damages to natural environment system is minimized. So we have to ensure these points. Okay, next let's move on to mind map. So under this lesson, resources, first you learnt about resources, Conserving resources, types of resources. Under resources, you learnt about utility and value, time and technology. Under conserving resources, you learnt about sustainable development and types of resources. Under types of resources, you learnt about types of natural resources and development and use, origin, stock and distribution, human made resources and man made resources. So these are the points you learned in this lesson. Okay, next let's see the glossary. The glossary words for this lesson is stock of resources, patient, technology, sustainable development. These are the words from this lesson. Next, let's see the very short answer. Very short answer. The resources that we find in natural and are used without much modification are called dash. The answer, natural resources. The answer is natural resources. And natural resources are classified into various types on the basis of dash. The answer, destruction. All non-living things are known as dash. The answer, abiotic resources. The answer is abiotic resources. Anything that can be used to satisfy human needs is a dash. The answer, resources. Resources which can be renewed or reproduced are known as dash. The answer, renewable resources. Renewable resources. Next, dash resources refer to the number and ability of the people. Example, knowledge, skill, etc. The answer, human resources. A thing becomes a resource when it is dash has been identified. The answer, utility. Balancing the need to use resources and also conserve them for the future is called dash. The answer, sustainable development. Resources are generally classified into dash. The answer, three types. How many types of general resources are there? Three types. Okay. Next, let's see the short answers. First one, what is a resource? What is a resource? Can you remember? Yes, a resource is any natural or human wealth that can be used for satisfying human needs is called a resource. Is called a resource. And mention the different types of resources. You are going to mention the different types of resources. They are natural resources, human made resources, and human resources are the different types of resources. Next, give a few examples of man made resources and natural resources. The answer, clothes, utensils, food grains, clothes, utensils, food grains, combs, honey, books, and man made resources. The next, land, air, water, sunshine, air, forest, and minerals are natural resources. Is it clear? Yes. What are abiotic resources? What are abiotic resources? The answer, abiotic natural resources are the resources comprise of non-living things like land, water, air and minerals such as gold, iron, copper and silver. Okay. Next, long answers. Let's see the long answers. Write a brief note on renewable resources. They are renewable resources or resources which can be replaced or reproduced easily, which can be replaced or reproduced easily. The sunlight, air and wind are resources that are continuously available and their quantity is not affected by human consumption. Because of consuming the solar system and the wind, the quantity of these resources are not getting reduced. Okay, many renewable resources can be depleted by human uses but are replaced, and the balance is maintained. For example, agricultural crops take a short time for renewal it will take a short time for renewal, and others like water take a comparatively longer time, while still others like forest take even longer time. Is it clear, children? Yes. Next, let's move on to chapter 2, that is land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife resources. Under this chapter, you learnt about uses of land, conservation of land resources, soil formation, factors affecting soil formation, degradation and conservation of soil. Then water, problem of water availability and conservation of water. Then the natural vegetation and wildlife, its distribution and conservation. Okay, these are the points you learned in this lesson. So let's see some points which you have to be remembered. They are: land is among the most important natural resources. So among the other resources, land is most important one, and it covers only about 30% of the total area of the earth's surface. How many percentage? Only 30 percentage of earth's surface are covered by land. And land can also be divided on the basis of private land and common lands. It can be divided in the basis of private lands and community lands. So what is private land? Private land is owned by individuals, whereas community land is owned by the community for common uses. And let's see the landslides. If we take about landslides, they are simply defined as the mass movement of rock and earth down a slope. So the mass movement of earth will move to down slope. Okay, soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to soil as a resource. Okay, soil as a resource, and both human and natural factors can lead to degradation of soil. Okay. Yes, water is a vital renewable natural resources. Water is vital renewable natural resources. Three-fourths of the Earth's surface is covered with water. As you know, three-fourths of Earth's surface is covered with water, and it is therefore appropriately called the water planet. That's why we are calling the Earth as a water planet, or it is also called as blue planet, isn't it? Yes. Let's see the next. Access to clean and adequate water sources is a major problem facing the world today. So, getting clean and adequate water, the world is facing a huge problem, isn't it? Yes. The water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluent suitably before realizing them in water bodies. Okay, the natural vegetation and the wildlife exist only in the narrow zone of contact between the lithosphere and hydrosphere and atmosphere, and that we called biosphere. All together we called it as biosphere. And the vegetation and wildlife are valuable resources. They too are valuable resources, and there are innumerable uses of plants. And wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, as well as the adequate life forms. Okay, and changes of climate and human interference can cause the loss of natural habitats for the plants and animals. Natural habitats for the plants and animals. Many species have become vulnerable or endangered, and some are on the verge of extinction. Okay, extinction means it will not be anymore. So deforestation, soil erosion, and constructional activities, forest fire, tsunami, and landslides are some of the human made and which together makes the natural which together make the process of extinction of these great natural resources. Is it clear, children? Yes. Next, let's move on to mind map. Under this lesson, land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife resource, you learned about land, natural vegetation and wildlife, soil, water. So under land you learnt about land use, conservation of land resources, and under natural vegetation and wildlife, natural vegetation, distribution of natural vegetation, wildlife, conservation of natural vegetation and wildlife. And under the soil you learnt about factors of soil formation and degradation of soil and conservation of soil you learnt. And underwater you learnt about water cycle, problem of water availability, and conservation of water resource. These are the subtopics you learned in this lesson, and the glossary word for this lesson is natural resources. What is natural resources? They are the natural occurring substance that are used in an unmodified form of filling man's needs. Filling man's needs. Is it clear, children? Yes. Next, let's see very short answers. How much percent of Earth's area is occupied by land? The answer 30%. Private land properties are owned by, the answer, individuals. Private land properties are owned by individuals. An example of common property resources is dash. The answer, land for common usage. Dash is a major threat to the environment, that is desertification. That is, the answer is desertification. The types of soil is determined by, the answer, landforms. The types of soil is determined by landforms. Next, soil is made up of organic materials and rocks. Organic materials and rocks. Mass movement of rocks down the hills could be a sign of landslide. Mass movement of rocks down the hills could be a sign of landslides. How much time is taken to form 1 centimeter of soil? The answer, hundreds of years. Which part of soil is fit for vegetation? The answer, topsoil. Overgrazing is responsible for causing soil depletion. Overgrazing is responsible for causing soil depletion. Next, let's see the short answers. How does land fulfill our needs? The answer, we get our food from plants and trees that grow on land. We build houses on land that gives us shelter. We construct roads and railway lines on land that helps us to travel from one place to another. We get minerals from land that is very essential for our development. We build factories and other buildings on land. Okay, fine. Next, name a few landforms. So some of the landforms are valleys, plateaus, mountains, plains, hills and glaciers or the different landforms. Is it clear, children? Next, what are the factors that aid soil formation? The answer: climate, parent rock, topography, organic material, and time span are the factors that aid soil formation. Next, mention some methods that are used to conserve soil. The answer: some of the methods used to conserve soil are mulching, contour barriers, rock dam, terrace farming, intercropping, crop rotation, contour plugging, shelter builds, afforestation, prevention of overgrazing. Okay, write a brief note on terrace farming and intercrops. Terrace farming is a process in which hill slopes are used as cultivable crops, and the farmer cuts terraces into slopes to create flat areas to grow crops because flat land is scarce in hilly regions. Intercropping is different crops grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rainwash. Okay. Next, let's see the long answers. What are the causes of the distribution of natural vegetation and wildlife? The answer: natural vegetation and wildlife are destroyed by man and by nature. The man-made causes of the man-made causes for destruction are deforestation, construction activities, agricultural expansion, and soil erosion. Man-made causes for destructions are deforestation, construction activity, agricultural expansion, and soil erosion. The next natural causes for destruction are climate change, forest fires, tsunami, landslides, earthquakes, and floods. Next, let's see to chapter 3. Mineral and power resources. Our chapter 3 is mineral and power resources. Under this chapter, you learned the subtopics are: what is mineral? Types of minerals. Under types of minerals you learnt about metallic minerals and non-metallic minerals. Conventional sources and non-conventional sources. Let's see the points to remember. A mineral is an element or chemical compound that is normally crystalline and that has been formed as a result of geological process. Okay, as the name suggests, metallic minerals or the minerals that contain one or more metals. Okay, and the non-metallic minerals are the special group of chemical elements from which no new product can be generated if they are metal. If they are metal, the new product will not be generated. When we cannot reuse a source of energy after using it once, we call them conservational sources of energy or non-renewable energy resources. Energy generated by using wind, solar, small hydro, tide, geothermal heat and biomass is known as a non-conventional energy. They are called as non-conventional energy, and all these sources are renewable process of energy. All are renewable process of energy generation and do not cause environmental pollution. It will not cause environmental pollution. Let's see the mind map. Under this mineral and power resources chapter, you learnt about types of minerals, uses of minerals, power resources and distribution of minerals. Under types of minerals, you learnt about metallic minerals, non-metallic minerals and extraction of minerals. And under use of minerals, you learnt about conservation of minerals. And power resources, you under this you learnt about conventional sources, non-conventional sources of energy. And under distribution of minerals, you learnt about the countries Asia, Europe, North America, South America, Africa, Australia and Antarctica. Isn't it? Yes. Next, let's see very short answers. Minerals found in dash or not accessible. The answer Antarctica. The example of ferrous mineral is dash. The answer manganese. Limestone is a dash mineral. The answer non-metallic. Minerals found near Earth's surface or taken out by the process of quarrying. Extraction of minerals is carried out by the process of dash. The answer mining. Next, dash is a leading producer of tin. The answer China. Dash is found in China. The answer antimony. Antimony. Dash is found in China. Antimony. Crude oil can be found in dash. The answer Qatar. Crude oil can be found in dash Qatar. High grade iron ore can be found in the answer Brazil. Dash is the largest producer of diamond among all continents. The answer Africa. Next, let's see short answers. What is a mineral? The answer minerals are found in the earth and are naturally occurring substance. They are not made by man. They are found in rocks and water. They are chemical substance and are made of elements. What are the classifications of minerals? What are the classification of minerals? The answer minerals can be classified as metallic and non-metallic minerals. Metallic and non-metallic minerals, and metallic minerals are further divided into ferrous and non-ferrous minerals. Okay, ferrous and non-ferrous minerals. Next, how are mineral extracted from earth? The answer minerals can be extracted by mining, drilling and quarrying. Next, name the different rocks that minerals occur in. The answer minerals occur in different types of rocks. They are igneous rock, metamorphic rocks, and sedimentary rocks. Mention a few minerals and their uses. The answer gold, silver, and platinum are used in the jewelry industry. Copper is used in the coin industry and for making pipes and wires. Silicon obtained from Qatar is used in the computer industry, and aluminum obtained or used in automobiles and aeroplanes. Bottling industry, buildings, and even in kitchen cookware. What do the three R's stand for in context with conservation of natural resources? The answer the three R's stand for reduce, it is to use less, reuse, to put again into service without changing. Recycle, to put again into service with changing. Next, let's see the long answers. Give a brief note on mining. The answer: the process of taking out materials from rocks buried under the earth's surface is called mining. And the mining can be classified into open cast mining and shaft mining. Open cast mining refers to a method of extracting rock or minerals from the earth by their removal from an open pit or burrow. And open pit mines are used when deposits of commercial useful minerals or rock are found near the surface. And shaft mining refers to the method of sinking a vertical or near vertical tunnel from the top down, where there is initially no access to the bottom, and the shifts have to be made to reach mineral deposits that lie at great depth. Okay, it will be okay, children. We came to the end. In this video, we have discussed the maximum question answers, isn't it? Yes, I hope it will be useful for you. Make use of it and learn properly. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much.